I was doing that too. I just realized it's 6:34, so we should get going. And if Zoe and Dee show up, that'll be great. But
Okay.
otherwise, why not? You know?
Yep.
So the agenda is pretty much what we talked about last time. I just put the list of things that we said we would work on, and I thought maybe we could just report out how it's going or something like that about the work that we're doing. I do have India's document in there for the dissolution process, but I don't know that we have to spend a lot of time with that. But it came after the meeting, so I wanted to make sure you had it. So it's linked in there.
Okay.
And then, well, there's just, I think things will come out of what we report out on. I did send out the survey again. And we did get a whole bunch more responses. So we're up to like 56 or something like that out of 144, which is
good.
pretty darn good, I think.
Mhm.
But I didn't go through and read it through and try to categorize things again. Just I ran out of time. So maybe we can do that before the next meeting and kind of look at those with a evil eye or a more concerted eye. So is
Do we
so that
do we have access to those Google
yeah,
surveys that you do too?
yes,
Oh, okay. I didn't
yeah.
look.
Yeah, you have the spreadsheet is there and they're all linked in this document. So they're just at the top here where it says member survey and survey responses. Just at the top of our meeting.
Oh, I'm still getting used to this, Ellen.
I'm just a little bit over efficient sometimes, so I know it's annoying, but I like to have things where I can find them, so I don't have to go searching through a lot of stuff. So,
Well, I have to keep scrolling for the meeting,
well, you
which
don't because remember the whole top part is a linked index. So all you have to do is go to October 2nd and click on it, and it brings you
yeah,
to October 2nd.
yeah. Except my computer doesn't want to behave. All right.
Okay. So
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, do people want to talk about the dissolution thing, or do you feel like you got the gist of it from India? Do we have questions? I really kind of think it's not our business.
I
No,
agree.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they got a handle on it. Let them run with it.
Okay. And so just for information's sake, the document's there. So you've got it. You can see it if you want to, whatever. Okay. So I'm going to write not our business. Okay. So then the report out is just
NOB,
what's that?
NOB, not our business.
Okay, got it. He's so funny because he's right above me and I can hear him up there and then I don't hear him here. So it's so weird.
I'll
Well,
whisper.
So I'm on page 4 on this document and it just has the list of all of us. And I'm just going to go from the top down and then we'll just kind of talk about what we did. So Jim, you're first.
Oh, wow. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I took upon the task of the jury process. And today, because we weren't around this past weekend, we were in Tunbridge at the Sheep Wool Festival, which is where I always spend my birthday, by the way. But I contacted and sent out requests for information to 6 different groups. I initially went out and looked for the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen.
Right.
And I was able to get as you can see, a lot of information about jurying. They gave me an information about standards and policies. And I haven't had a chance to really do a lot of digesting of this yet, but standards, guidelines for juried work, and also 7 or 8 page jury applications. One of the things that I asked, actually all the groups that I contacted, was if they had any special information pertaining to laser engraved items, 3D printed parts of artwork, or anything that had any
AI kind of.
AI or technology or that type of thing attached to it. And I'm still waiting on some answers from actually everybody on that particular question. The other printout that I got, I went out to the Northeast, the Northeast Kingdom Artisans Guild.
Yeah.
The gallery that's up there
In St. Johnsbury.
in St. Johnsbury. And I did get a printout from them all about before your artwork is accepted, it must be juried, and then it shows them information on how to apply and so on and so forth. And again, I sent them the same questions about AI and so on and so forth. I also contacted Martha Fitch at the Craft Council. And I know that she hasn't yet responded to me, but looking at their website and the information, it's kind of easy peasy if you wanted to be a member of the Vermont Craft Council. And I don't even think any jurying was involved when Ellen and I were members, or the Grand Isle Artworks Gallery itself was a member.
Yeah.
I sent a note to the Milton Artists Guild because they are a membership organization and have not yet received any information back from them.
There is no jurying process.
No, I know
jury.
there is no.
There's
Okay.
no jury process.
Yeah.
For
Alright.
for the Milton Artist Guild or for,
For the
Milton.
Milton Artist Guild.
oh,
There never has been. Yeah.
hmm,
I sent information, or got information printed out from the Vermont Artists in Residence, which is
Yep.
the
Barry's organization.
Saint or
St. Albans.
in Albans group, and haven't gotten anything, but I did get a printout from them, which is a little bit there's not a whole heck of a lot of information in it, but again, I asked them the same.
Jim, the question that I really want to know the answer to is whether or not how they actually do the jury sessions. Have you been able to find that out? Because that's what the membership survey said, that people were not happy with having to pay, number one, $25, having to cart their stuff up on a certain day, having to stay the whole day, and then go home and not know whether you were in or out. And, you lost a day plus $25 and you might not be a member.
Right.
So,
The League of New Hampshire Craftsmen does have a pay up front portion for their jury process.
okay.
And again, I need to.
Yeah. But does anybody have a digital way that they do it so people don't have to travel, or regional juries? I don't know.
The application for New Hampshire is online, and you can fill it out online. And there are sections where you can drop files of pictures of some of your items. So that is a little bit less intrusive, I suppose, than having to go to a place.
Okay. Maybe Jim, when you go through all that stuff, you could watch for that part of it too.
Right.
hey, Jim, have you considered contacting Frog Hollow? I know that
Not yet.
one of my friends has told me that she was on the board for the Art on Main, whatever this in Bristol, and she said they were very helpful with them, and they sent over somebody to even talk to them about, and I'm sure they have a lot about, because their jury.
Well, they're a craft center, so they have all different obligations to the public
Right, but
because they're a state craft center.
they might have, their guidelines for AI and the stuff that you're looking for too, because just
Yeah,
a
they
thought.
will. Yeah. And they'll have it on the website too, Jim, because I know we went out to all those when we were doing our gallery.
Got it.
So,
And
but
the
Frog
last-
Hollow is definite for sure.
The last place that I've contacted was the Massachusetts Society of Arts and Crafts.
Oh, okay.
And it's similar in one respect to the League of New Hampshire Craftsmen in that it's a statewide organization. I think it's probably looking a little bit more high end kind of things
Yeah.
than what you might find in Vermont. But
Somebody mentioned that one
waiting
before, that it was high end,
coming
so,
from them.
yeah. Okay,
But I will definitely add Frog Hollow to the list. And
okay.
anybody
then-
else can think of.
Yeah, Jim, the other thing I did for you, but you didn't see it yet, was like, there's a folder that's linked on this document here too, but I pulled the VHC's current jurying policies out of the policy document and just put it by itself in the jury folder. So you can see what they have been doing. And then compare notes and whatnot. And then again, we're a brand new group, so we can, cut and paste as
Exactly.
is important to do. I do think people care about it being quality,
Right.
but there may be a way to do it that isn't as onerous or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we definitely would need some sort of a jury pass-through kind of.
Yes, yeah,
agree-
absolutely. And okay, so the next one on the list is kind of me. It's the policy documents, which India sent to us, and I think I maybe sent to you guys before, but it's in the list here. And I'm just going to share my screen because I just marked it up a little bit and basically read through. Hang on, I gotta find my share screen button. Okay. It's that one. So can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay. So the policy thing is, it's a PDF, of course. I don't understand. But anyway, and basically what they have is, India said when she was talking to us, the policies don't show up. They do show up in the board meetings, like on things they talk about. And then at the bottom of them, you'll see it tells you when they last reviewed them and whatnot. My overall thing about the policy document, number one, is there's a lot of policies here, and they're like to razor's edge. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like the human quality, or what I would call the artistic quality that we sometimes look for, is pretty much beaten out of these. It's tough. It actually, I think I started to get like goosebumps or something. The hair on the back of my neck was starting to go up while I was reading them, because I could hear different voices in the background. But that said, I think, we can start with one. We can start with two. We don't need to have 55 different policies over every single thing we do. Some of this is learned behavior, right? You want to do it. What I found with them is that the document is extremely negative, and that it assumes the worst, not the best. So, right away, the second policy is revocation or removal of a board member. I would have that buried like somewhere deep down, but that's like the first thing up. There's a lot of comment in there about members who question the authority of the group and are sort of bad members, and how you get them out. And I think we have to be really careful. I think one of the things the board survey said, or the survey we sent out about the work, was that people wanted the board to be closer to the membership, and that they didn't like the distance between, and some of these rules make them very distant. So basically I just went through and read them all. Funny things. I mean, there's just like some people get mileage, like the office manager gets mileage, but nobody else. And, like, I think that when we do our thinking about that, and I'll show you in another document, but, if we have to drive to meetings, we get our mileage. if there's an expense to get to that meeting, usually with a board, you get that reimbursed. I don't think that's a really hard thing. Things that I wanted to know, like how much are the dues? When do they get collected? It's not in the policies. So I was like, okay, so now I have to go back to my old emails and see if I can figure out when they send me stuff. Membership limitations, again, this is about production assistance. Like if you have too many people, you can't be in there. The grievance policy. These are very, very negative in nature. And maybe they came out of something, that happened, whatnot. I don't know.
My analogy is, if you buy an electrical appliance and you look at like the first 4 pages, it's all things that say don't do this, don't do that,
Right.
because it's all in reaction to things that people have done. In
Exactly.
75 years of history at VHC, these are all things that people have had problems with or complained about.
Exactly.
So the gut reaction is, oh, let's put it into a policy.
Yeah,
And
this
nobody
is like,
ever goes back and weans out the stuff you don't really need anymore.
no, and you don't need to make a policy out of every reaction you have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if the board agrees that we're going to do it this way, it doesn't mean we're going to do it this way forever. So policies become rule bound, and I think that's the trick here. But this one was funny. I just wrote, really? Like a member who's been dropped may appeal the decisions of the membership at large at the next meeting. It has to be 3/4 of the board it's like so intricate in the whole thing. It's really kind of interesting. Then there's this whole thing on show emissions, like to the point of you have to have a cash box. Like that's not a policy. That's a procedural document telling you how to run a show. So, I mean, I just think I can play around with this and lift things and maybe put them into different places. And then it's followed by the bank accounts, which is okay. Then what's here? Oh, this whole sponsorship thing is, we will have to think about. Mileage reimbursement. They have this, I don't even know about this award, the DOP award. I don't know if I've even seen it, but anyway, they don't have the Catherine Washburn Award in here, so that's never been put in. So, and then there's page after page of the jurying stuff, which really, I remember this was extremely negative. I mean, everything was what you couldn't do. And then how you can grieve it, what the hands-on, you even have the form. Again, these aren't policies. These are helpful operational documents that you might have, but. And then this whole thing, I want us to think about, not today, of course, but they stopped taking food vendors in 2004. They just shut it down. And I don't understand that, because I actually think having food sprinkled around, people like that because they get, a sample or something along the way. So I just found that very interesting, and I don't know why they did it. They must have had troubles with something that wasn't right, but because it says there's a moratorium on food products.
Unless it became like the jewelry. I know I've done shows where it's like in Boston, I did a show, and there was a whole aisle in this big, huge place that we were at, all food. And that's where everybody in the whole show was. It was so frustrating.
Well, then you have to think about how you put your show together.
Yeah.
You have to sprinkle them around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the last show we had 2 food vendors. I don't think there was any more than that. And I thought that wasn't very much. But anyway, so it's just all the policies here. Like Gary said, they kind of show what they were reacting. Oh, this was the one. This is the document that absolutely frightened the hell out of me. This whole show etiquette, your setup time, your takedown, your pack down, what you can wear, what you cannot say, what you cannot do.
Really?
All of this. I remember sitting in the booth the first time, like at attention the whole time.
I didn't even know this existed, so I misbehaved every show.
I think examples of unacceptable behavior include, but are certainly not limited to, not just limited to, they're certainly not limited to loud conversation, laughter. Gary, you're out. And
That's a riot.
And
Wow.
attention getting salutations. So when I say, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time, whatever, attention getting conversations that block aisles, any interruption of an interaction between another exhibitor and a potential customer, negative or critical comments that can be heard by an attendee or another exhibitor, loud noises. I love this one. From voices, radios, and other sound making devices, pets, and bare feet are not acceptable. Like, it's November. Okay. So anyway, I'm not gonna, I did have a little bit of fun with this one, but
Can't have a pizza delivered.
I will continue with this and see if I can put things maybe in different places where they might belong, and then people, as we work on stuff, we can do it. Any thoughts or encouragements or
No, I want to look at that when I have a minute to look at it. But
it's
just
great.
for the thrill of it.
I mean, if
Yeah.
we start out having more than about 2 pages of policies, I think that's enough.
It's silly. I've never, yeah, I don't know. Like, with this other organization, which I know I keep talking about, I started to create sort of a handbook. Like, these are things we might think about, but I'm not going to make them up rule. They're not a rule yet. You don't need all these rules, but anyway. Okay, so back to the agenda. Up, I'm on next, the agenda. Sorry about that, you guys. I took a dive into draft bylaws. And I'm going to tell you what I did was my other organization paid many thousands of dollars to a very sharp lawyer, Arlene Duffy in Burlington. I really like her a lot, but smart on nonprofits. And we were at one time a member organization, and now we've changed to being a non-member organization. But she wrote me a set of bylaws when we were thinking about keeping membership that worked for us. So I just grabbed it and did a little find and replace with the names, and I know it will pass muster. So I think we'll have to read through it and make sure it says what we want it to say. But I think it could work. And then the other thing she did for me with the other group was she gave me, because your first meeting, you have to incorporate, you have to actually have the board has to say, we agree to this, and this. She wrote me a script that went down each of the questions that you have to ask your new board about. So I'm going to lift that script again and hope she doesn't, get after me or ask me anything. But so we're getting sort of free legal advice in some respects. All right, here's the bylaws. They're linked in again. I will share my screen again. And again, bylaws are by far not interesting. Okay, they're just not. But they don't have to be highly negative either. So the first part, and Allison, you started to ask about mission statements, and mission statements are a hard thing to create because you really have to get at what you value, and they get very much linked to your bylaws. So without our bylaws, it's hard to do a mission statement. And our full group, I think we should just take a meeting and just figure out the mission statement maybe, but
yeah, no, I just didn't want to fall between the cracks.
No, you're right. We do need it. So do you see the bullets there? These are the goals. And I took the goals from VHC's original bylaws and I moved them over. And then I looked at the goals for my literacy organization, and many of them I moved over. Do you know what I mean? Because they're almost identical. So these are the goals that I think will support us in our 501c3. This is probably the most important part of this. So one is developing and coordinating promotion and marketing opportunities for visual arts in Vermont. And I'm using the word visual arts on purpose. I think it used to say just crafts, or used to say whatever, but I want it to be more than just crafts. I want it to be art also, right? Promoting resources by which Vermont artisans and their regional colleagues may stay abreast of current art offerings, research techniques, and materials related to their art. Now I'm trying to borrow from the New Hampshire League, where they have neighboring colleagues or regions. So it's just something for us to think about. None of this is grounded, it's not in stone. But the New Hampshire League allows Vermonters on the border of New Hampshire and on the border of Massachusetts and whatnot to be part of them. And it might be a way.
I'm in the Berkman Arts Council too, and they have
Yeah.
in Vermont. So
that's why I thought I'd just put in that regional colleagues, because I thought it might open us up a little bit.
The
And then-
North Kingdom also allows people from New Hampshire
Oh, no kidding. Good. Okay.
as
Yeah, 'cause
membership.
they're right on the border for
Right.
sure. The third one is disseminating information to the public relative to current issues and practices in the art world. So being a conduit of information, provide artists opportunities to grow within their art medium through scholarships, workshops, and classes. I'm gonna put an S there. Okay. Another one was create opportunities for artists to share and sell their work within the larger community of Vermont and its regional neighbors. Working cooperatively with other visual arts organizations within the state of Vermont to promote excellence within the visual arts fields. And serving as an information resource to visual artists and the public throughout Vermont. So anyway, those were some of what they already had. The one that I didn't include here, and I'm just noticing that, is they had a whole goal about jurying. And I think this group probably needs to talk about that, and whether that is a standalone goal or whether that falls into working cooperatively with other, to promote excellence within the visual arts world, whether we need one that specifically says jurying. And I don't have that other document up here yet, I don't think. So
Who's they? The
VHC.
okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
their
you're right.
bylaws, wait a second, it's right over here.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think jurying is a goal.
I don't
jurying
either.
is a support mechanism to ensure excellence in the
quality.
product that we're
Yeah.
presenting.
I was right with you, Gary, because I put it on the list and then I took it off the list and I put it on the list. And I guess my last thing was, developing and coordinating promotion and marketing opportunities, resources to stay abreast, information, I think all of this gets at the fact that we're looking for quality and excellence.
Yep.
So anyway, we'll need to sit with these for a little while and then decide whether they do it for us. And maybe we can come back to it next time or something, because we do need the bylaws to get ourselves moving. We need to get some of that going. And then the rest of it, I'm not going to read it to you. It's just boilerplate stuff. When I put the two documents side by side on my monitors, and the order was a little bit different, but really the same boxes show up on both. So you get, things about the organization, you have things about the board of directors, you have things about having Zoom meetings, removal of directors is in here. It's not quite as harsh as the way they had it in the other one. And then your officers, what else? And then membership.
Do you have terms in there too?
Well, what they
I can
said
go-
was yes, hang on one sec. I do have some of that in
Because
here.
that's one thing that the current board just didn't ignore it, was the terms.
Yes, I know that. So the way they had it,
Oh, okay.
you can do
I
a
can look at
range.
it.
So you can do a range. And so what I put in was, right now, they said we had to have 5 board members. So I started with that. So 5 to 12 is what I thought the board, you don't want much more than 12. You won't get anything done, right? It gets too mangled and stuff. And so then what they said was, if you had 6 directors, they would have 2-year terms, but they're going to be offset. So
Mhm.
every year after the first round, 2 directors go off, 2 directors come on, 2 directors go off, 2 directors come on. And I think that works out pretty well. That's easy to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And then quorum and voting. There's the officers again. And then the membership. I think the membership dues right now are $85. I don't think we need to have $85 be our start off, because we're going to be, if we get Charlie Dooley's stuff, we're going to be in a better shape. So we'll have to figure that one out. And then they did the annual meeting in March. We could we can decide when we want to have the annual meeting. We will have to call, once we get the stuff from the state of Vermont, we'll have to call a first meeting, that incorporation meeting. And then the clock starts ticking. So then at that point, you have to have an annual meeting after that, things like that. Notice of meetings, members list, quorum, assets. It's all the same. So take a look through, and then what we can do is, you know, you can leave comments, just highlight in there, and just, if you don't like something, just ask a question or whatnot. Maybe that's a good thing to do. All right, I'll get out of there. So hopefully I'm not next on the agenda. Let's see. Oh crap, I am. Okay. All right. Well, this will be quick. So I didn't do anything around communication, but I did go out to their website. And I just started looking at the website and trying to see what they had on it and what we might want to have. I didn't price out things at this point. I'll do that next time. Here's share screen, hang on. So it's much, I mean, you guys remember the website, right? The website's been pretty grim for years and years and years. It's better than it was, but there's really hardly anything on it. Things are repeated like 2 or 3 times. There is no way to share to your own, you know, like if you like something on the website and you want to share it on your own social media account, it doesn't do that. It just brings you to their accounts. So we definitely want a more interactive one. They don't have a calendar of their own events. They just have the Vermont Arts Council, which I thought was a little crazy, because I think what we would want to do is we'd want to have a calendar with our events, whatever they are, but also in our meetings, our board meetings, everything would be on that calendar. But also, if Allison, you were doing a show, or Gary, you were doing a show, we'd put that on the calendar as well, so that people know where we are. So
did they have that for a little while, and then it just kind of just faded into something?
I could very well be. It's, you know, it's pretty standard. Their website, the front page has like no information on it. It's like, you know, the show.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see this thing, shop our members online. What's that? Well, now I click in there and now I get all the members, but it doesn't say anything like our members are selling things. You know, there's no
right.
captivating text. Let's put it that way.
It's just boring too.
Yeah. And then join our email list. And then all of these just go out to VHC accounts. And there's no other way to send. I can't send this page out to my account because it doesn't link to me.
Who's the hosting company?
I don't know who does their hosting. It is a WordPress website. So that part is very familiar for me. I don't know who it is. I probably can go, I can look it up in
say at the bottom. Oh, it just says WordPress.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't even say WordPress.
Isn't there, don't they have a web guy too? John or something?
John Zapp, who's a fused glass beads.
Oh, okay.
He's an artist. So yeah.
Okay.
So, and then the part I love though is there's the home, the calendar, but now we've got contact, which usually is way at the end, right? Then you shop, then you have your members, and now I can go search. I mean, the nav bar is all messed up. I think he just added pages to it and didn't think about the order of them. And then like when you go like this about page, that's all we know about the organization. I have no idea. You know, there must be more stories than that to tell for 65 years. I mean, you would think that there'd be more. And then you go to affiliated galleries. And it's, you know, it is what it is. So more to think about. I'll look into hosting, and I'll look into what's the place you go? Whose list? What's the thing where you find out who owns what?
Secretary of State.
No.
For a domain, you can just go like, you can go to GoDaddy and say you want to set up a domain, and then you can put the name.
But there is one that gives you all the information about all the things.
Okay. I just do it
Answer
that
to
way. I
the
backed
phone.
into it, but
There's something called Who Is.
That's
Who is,
it.
right.
That's what it is.
who is okay?
So I'll do all that for next time, but website.
yeah.
was-
The website's going to be a big project, I think, in the end. To not to begin with, you can just put a page up to begin with and just put basic information, but to get a good website, I think it's going to be.
Well, we have to decide what we want on the website.
Right,
Nobody
right,
talked
exactly.
About that. There's no content on that website except for the
Right.
members, which is good. I mean, we want the members on there. And I will say that each of the members now links to their own page. So I didn't realize that, I guess. Maybe I did know that at one point.
Yeah,
but
I knew that, but they never had mine quite right, and I just
gave up.
yeah.
So if you go to,
But it doesn't. There's no way to know that it does that other than it doesn't say click on whatever.
no, and so there's Jim's,
Right.
so, but,
you-
yeah, I didn't know that. I knew they asked for the information, but I didn't know where it was going. So it's
Mhm.
just interesting, but, okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that. And I think the Ellen show is done. I think we're done. Okay. So Dee's not here. Allison, how'd you do with the name thing? You got a lot of names in there.
Yeah, I did. So before I did anything else, I wanted to just talk to you guys about the next step. And this is what I'm thinking, but I want you guys to tell me that, make sure I'm not thinking this wrong. What I was thinking the next step would be is to take, after I figure out which names are available, through the Secretary of State, take the list and send it back out to the 30 people and ask them to pick their top 3.
Yeah.
And then-
rate.
Yep. And then from the top 3 that we get, we then take the top 3 and send it out to the whole 150 members.
Yeah.
And I think that's easier than asking 150 people for their name ideas.
I think that's fine. I think,
Okay.
if somebody has a problem with it, they'll let us know. Nobody's.
Yeah, and it would be worded that, our group of 30 came up with these are the top, however I do it, so they know that it was more than just like 2 people doing this. So yeah, so this is where I'm gonna have to I'm gonna try to create a Google survey.
I can do it for you if you want to. If you have troubles, just send me the questions you want.
Okay, before I get to that point, I have to make sure that the names that I put
Yeah.
out there are
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, so I'll get right on that because I know that we need the name before we can go anywhere else.
Yeah, to
so,
pin
okay.
it down.
All right, that was my piece.
Okay, I'm just writing notes for you there. Okay. All righty. Anybody, any questions or thoughts about that? If you look up at the top of the document, you'll see I was playing with, we're starting to know which ones are already being used and which ones aren't. So Allison will continue on that. It's kind of fun, Allison. It's like rolling the dice. You just throw it in there and see if they've got it or not. Okay.
If a name is inactive and has been inactive for a while, is it fair game? Or is
I
it
don't
best-
know. If it shows up on that site, you're not supposed to use the same name. So you'd have to use a slightly different name. And my thinking when I said to Allison, I don't know if you were in the Zoom room yet, was I feel like we want to be pretty clean. Like we don't want people to get mixed up with us. Like we don't want the Vermont Arts Council to be named to be too close to ours, or something like that, because we're really starting out brandy new. So
Mhm.
yeah. So our next thing on the list was D, and she's not here. You've got naming. Yep, I did the notes there. Sorry, the next thing was Zoe, and Zoe's not here. But then there's Gary with his Gantt sheet, which is so amazing.
So I would share it, but because I switch over to my laptop here, I don't have it up, and by the time I got it, it would be midnight.
Here.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah,
I think
Very
I've
good.
got it linked in here somewhere, maybe.
yeah. That's what I'm just trying to think. The best way to update it is either for people to update their own dates or their own items, or it's an ugly format. It's not elegant. It's
It's serviceable.
going in and adding lines and removing things, it just isn't, it isn't a nice clean. I just pulled up a Google Sheets template for,
Yeah.
and it wasn't my first choice of what I would use if I'd thought it through a little bit longer and found something better, but it'll work for what we're doing. It's a short duration project, so I wasn't too upset about it. So it might be easier if people just let me know what they want to add or change, what dates, and I'll go
Okay.
through and update it myself. I'd like it to, I wish it was a sheet that was easy for everyone to update, but I think if
No,
you
I know it's not.
yeah, for now, if you just let me know, I'll go through and update dates and tasks. And again, I just guessed at staggering things to try to
Here,
get
I've got it here,
to a
Gary.
point where,
Here. Can you see it now?
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So tell me how we would update it. Like where would we just, and maybe, I just need
Yeah,
to
so
look at
so I
it.
mean, I think what you could do is go into the section that you're most involved in,
Right.
and if you have a task you want to add, you could just insert a line. It's not going to keep all the formatting and stuff clean, but I can go through and fix that.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and the dates, the dates are very easy for you to change.
Okay. Awesome.
And once you've completed an item, you can mark what percent, or you can either mark yourself off as what percent
So you see what he has here for you,
of
Allison,
task
is that,
complete, or if it's complete, just mark it as
yeah.
100%.
and we haven't quite selected the name yet, but maybe next week we will, right? So
Yeah.
he's got a October 2nd, so it's still, the due date was 10/6. So you can, those are the dates that we change as we go along. Gary, can you grab some information from the meeting itself?
Yeah, absolutely. I intended
Okay.
to do that. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll take your meeting notes and try to see what I can
Yeah.
update.
Okay, good luck with that. Okay. They're very sketchy, but I appreciate this. I like it a lot. It helps out. Yeah. Yeah, and so, so things are, this is great.
Yeah, just having the whole list is
And what we're all doing, so it's great.
great.
Awesome.
And again,
Okay.
it's very compressed, right? I mean, we had 8 weeks until the show, and I tried to get
Yeah.
most of the stuff into there. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
there's a few things that can linger until after the show,
Right,
but I think we
right.
want to have a handle on most of them.
And you know what I was thinking, Allison, you know how you said last time we don't have any money, what are we gonna do? Well, once we determine what the dues are gonna be, we could just pay our own membership dues early.
That's true.
And then
Yeah.
we could start a bank account. We could, once we get all our numbers and stuff, we could.
Yep. Because there was something that I did come up, I thought, and I didn't write it down, that we're gonna need money for, and I can't remember what on earth it was, so I'm not gonna worry about it, but I don't know, something when I was working on stuff, it's like, we're gonna need money for this, but I don't know what it was, so I'm not
Well,
worried.
even to get the website up,
Right.
I'm not going to take their website. So we'll
Right.
put together a new website
Right.
and we can slick it up later, but we're gonna get one up there.
Right,
And,
and you still need to pay, even though websites are free, you still need to pay, because you want
Just
a
the
good
domain and
domain,
the hosting.
yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so there'll be a little bit.
Mm.
Okay, that's awesome.
If
We
we
are
first,
looking pretty good, you guys.
if
I
we
think.
determine what some of those first charges or costs would be, then we can divide it by the 6 of us or the 18 or, the semi-larger group, and just basically determine what the yearly dues should be, whether it's $20 or $50 or somewhere in
Yeah.
the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about the people right now that are mad because they paid their membership. The only thing they get for their membership right now is the show, and they were told they can't be in the show. And
Yeah.
So I don't want to, I was thinking we keep we keep ourselves pretty lean as we figure out what our expenses really are going to be. Did you talk to Charlie, Allison?
Yes,
Okay, that's the other big one that we didn't talk about, because that's the
Yes.
other piece we need to know before we can do dues.
well, the email he sent back to me was kind of, he just resaid what he already said his plans were for the next year. And then, I wanted to talk to him about, because I said we want to be able to like tell people next year what's going to happen next year. So he wanted to kind of get together with a couple of us, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. To kind of brainstorm about what we can do. And I'm not quite sure if if he's willing to come up with printed material for us to give out at this point, or what he's thinking, because I don't think, we're not going to fund anything like that at this point,
What do you mean?
like postcards or save the date or something for next
We
year.
could, why not? We could.
Well, we could, but then we could, yes, we could. But the way I look at it is that it's become his thing, and we're
Oh.
gonna be paying him fees, booth fees.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you totally.
So I think that
Yeah.
maybe if we can get him, if there's something, so I don't know if somebody wants to talk to him with me.
Well,
I have a,
I don't mind meeting with him, and I don't think any one of us would, I think we'd all be okay if a couple people meet with him. I think the big thing with Charlie is pinning him down. Is like getting him
Right.
to put something on paper. And so I think that's gonna be important. So, I
yeah.
mean,
He
I
said, how about I get together with two of you to brainstorm?
yeah, I saw that in the thing, and
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, Allison, if you and I want to do it, or if somebody
Sure.
else in the group wants to do it.
I'm willing to keep going with Charlie.
Okay,
So it's just a matter of, why don't I get dates from him if he's hard to
okay.
tie down and
I still do have a day job, so I'll try my darndest to work
well,
around
let's
it.
do, evenings is fine, right?
Sure, yeah, if he's okay with that. Yeah.
Okay. I'll say we prefer evenings if possible.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
and-
because the other thing, Allison, we might want to have a card out there that says, we're brand new, like we can, I know it's a Ron Handcrafter show, but maybe we, even at our booths, we could have a postcard that says, watch for the
Mhm.
transition or whatever it is. We need to have something out there.
Right. And something, and yeah, and stuff like that, we could print ourselves some of
Yeah.
this. So,
Yeah.
but if Charlie wants to do it and put have nice glossy stuff, I'm not gonna say no.
No, don't say no.
Okay, so I'll contact him too, because again, if we're gonna put anything out there, we need to know what we're doing. So to get that ready in what do we
Yeah.
have, about 6.5 weeks?
Yeah, I thought your email was really good because you were really explicit about what we needed and why we needed it, which was good.
Okay, all right,
Awesome.
that's that about Charlie.
Okay. So then the only other thing I would say, I think we might be set is we kind of continue on, right? Is there
Mhm.
more things that come up? I mean, each one of us probably has something to do, right? Like the Gantt chart, getting that more up to date kind of stuff. And we don't know about the logo and the financials, so we'll hopefully get that next time. Do we want to set?
With a logo until you have a name though,
Right, exactly.
I know, it's really hard. I think what I was hoping and that Dee might be able to do is find some groups that might take it on, like an art organization or a high school or the Center for Technology, like in Essex or something like that, where they do their graphic art stuff. Might be kind of cool.
Mhm.
So I would say we continue on. I'm putting in the notes to just, take a look through the policy document, take a hard look at the website, all the things we talked about today, just kind of go back and we're going to need to recap a little of this with Dee and Zoe. And do we want to set our next meeting date for, it must be the 9th, right? No, the 10th.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yep. And I wonder if Zoe and Dee remembered it's on Monday.
Yeah, I didn't send out a reminder, did I, this time? That's the first time.
So maybe they'll show up tomorrow and have their own meeting.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns, things that we haven't thought of?
No, good
I'm
work.
putting together a tentative jury procedure
Yeah.
and try to do as much online as possible.
Well, I just think we need to see about what the options are. You don't want crap, but you don't want to put people out so much that they get a bad taste in their mouth. Yeah.
Wondering
Oh,
if you could, I was
there's
wondering if you
the-
do like a hybrid where you do it online if you have members that have seen the person's work. And
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, there's
something along that line, right?
Hi, Dee. We were just about to close down the meeting.
And you could do a lot of it online, and then if you have questions, like if somebody's like an established artist and they have, you can pretty much tell online. But if it comes, it could be a second step where we need to see it in person.
Right. And that's what we did in our gallery, Gary. We people were already a Vermont Handcrafters member. It was like, great, you can be in, or I've seen your work at such and such a place and such and then if I didn't know it, I would ask them to bring things in.
Yep, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Dee, we're closing up the meeting.
I'm so sorry. I kept thinking all day that it was tomorrow, and I just
We were
I'm
just
sorry.
saying that.
Well, we just said that. We said this is the first time I didn't send out a reminder, but we didn't get back from the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival till like late last night, and then today was sort of trying to pretend I was working hard on my real job. Maybe not quite as hard as I should have been, but anyway.
no, I feel you because I did the craft show in Danville, and I had a 4-day art retreat, so I've been
Oh wow, yeah.
exhausted.
Well,
so
basically, I'm going to put some more stuff in the minutes because it's pretty slim pickings right at the moment. But there are documents that are hyperlinked in if you go back to the agenda, and you'll see like the policy statements, the website critique kind of thing. There's a jury folder. There's something else. Oh, and the bylaws.
Okay.
And then the question we would have had for you or have for you is, and we've already realized that you probably can't do anything until we have a name, but you were in charge of the logo. And
Mhm.
if you had any thoughts on that.
I do know that one of our current members is willing to work with it. He's actually a graphic designer. I'm an artist, used to be a graphic designer, but he's willing to do some work with it. So I
Oh,
think
nice.
once we have a plan, did
Yep.
anybody respond? Any more people respond, Allison, to?
Yeah, the plan is I've got
A
quite
lot
a
of
list.
names. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but Ellen had started, and I'm going to finish going through and making sure that they're viable names like this. They're not already somebody else's name registered with the Secretary of State. And then once I do that, I'm going to send out those names in a survey to the group of 30 and ask them to pick their top 3, and then take the top 3 after that and send it to the entire
Sounds
group.
great. Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And
Great.
then once we have that, then it's easier to talk about
Yes.
logo.
Yep.
The other
Yep,
thing
and I hope to get that all done. Like, I'm only going to give people like, this has to be done, give them a couple days. There's no reason it should take anybody very long to do that. So,
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Great.
And then the other thing to look at is the bylaws document, which is I told Gary and Allison, Jim already knows that I'm sort of ripping off my other organization because we paid a lot of money for the lawyer to create bylaws for us.
Yep.
And so it's funny what you can do with find and replace. You just take out certain names and so they're there, but I want people to look at them and if you have any questions or comments, just make a note on the document.
Okay.
So
Sounds good. By
and we're
next
gonna
Monday?
no, next Tuesday. We're back to Tuesdays. This was the day that I couldn't be there on Tuesday. So,
Right. Okay.
So I think that'll make it better for everybody too, because Zoe didn't come either. So I bet
No.
that happened for
Yeah.
her too.
Are any of you guys doing the Stowe show?
No.
I am.
You must
You
have had
are.
a great weekend for Danville, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. It was fun. It was beautiful.
for Tunbridge. Tunbridge was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're off to Rhinebeck in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Oh,
Good for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm
yeah,
really
no.
sorry about this.
Oh, no worries. We've just been sharing what we did. So I mean, you're all fine and you'll see what in the notes. So you'll be
Okay.
good.
I'll make
And-
a note of it.
Yeah. And we're gonna meet next Tuesday at 6:30.
I will be there.
Okay, bright and early.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Bye.
See
We're
ya.
looking good. Really
Yep.
good.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.